writing at the time were in prison when they were writing. So many of the scriptures that we read for strength when we get weary, God spoke through men who were in chains when they wrote them. How do you go through suffering and still have a smile on your face? You ain't got to be fake, but I know God is real. Oh, I cried my eyes last night. Like, last night was ridiculous. Had to throw the pillow away. It wasn't no point in washing it. Well, what you gonna do? I don't have to do nothing. The Lord fights my battles. It's gonna be all right. That was just an emotional release that I just needed to have. But my hope hasn't waned just because my troubles have increased. Matter of fact, when my troubles increase, my hope increases as well. Your hope has to match your trouble. If not, your troubles will consume you and you will give up on God. So your faith and your hope must increase when your troubles increase, which means that God has to enlarge in your life the darker it gets. Because the darker it gets, the more you can be able to see the stars. And it's at night that you walk out and say, isn't it beautiful outside? Somebody say, how can you say it's beautiful outside when there is no sun? But I see the stars. Yeah. I still have hope. I still see the moon. Matter of fact, I don't care how dark it gets. The sun has no light. The moon has no light. It just reflects the what? So regardless of how dark it gets, you can't stop the sun from bouncing off things and still saying, I'm here even in the midnight hour. I know the sun is somewhere, I just don't see it right now. And it may be the perspective that I'm in, but maybe if I hold on a few hours, that world will turn a little bit and I'll be able to see the sun. All right? He says, look, his suffering heals us. Because many times when it becomes unbearable, I remember entering into the program in high school, and so we got a chance to be with the varsity. And so what they took, we were freshmen and sophomores, so we got to train with the sophomore for the juniors and the seniors, and we had something called it was really a heat box. So what they would do in the locker room is they would turn the heat up in the locker room to an uncomfortable level. They would put the benches along the walls to the lockers, and so everybody had to line up. So you had everybody that was lined up in there, and so this was our first time entering in to what they call gut check. They call this gut check. I don't know why they refer to this as an organ of the body, but this was going to be gut check. So you're in there and it's kind of warm. It's just kind of warm. And so when the whistle blew, you had to just go. The upperclassmen would look at us and say, hey, whatever you do, don't stop. It's going to hurt. You're going to want to quit. And it's going to be painful. But I'm going to punch you in your face. I didn't go to a Christian school. But I'm going to punch you in your face. I did see one dude get knocked out, which helped the rest of us be able to get alive. You had to move, because if anybody stopped, everybody got punished. If you stopped, if anybody in there stopped, if anybody in your group stopped, then coach would start all over and everybody got punished. So what would happen is the players would self-check each other because you wanted to get out. The only way for you to get out is that you couldn't quit. It's not about how fast you went. You just couldn't what? Just can't stop. You just can't quit. And if everybody keeps going, then eventually the time will go up, and it was timed. And then you could what? Everybody could get out. And so you would start and your legs would start burning and sweat and your shirt, and you get to the point where you were looking around and you wanted to quit. I promise you it crossed your mind. Like you would say, this for the bird. You wanted to quit, but when you wanted to quit, what you would do is you would look around. Because maybe if somebody else quit, that could give you a license to what? To quit. And if enough people quit, then you can say, if enough people flunk the test, you don't feel too bad. You don't want to be the only one that flunked. So as you go in and you looked around, And you realize that as you looked around, they were looking back at you. And sometimes the older classmen would do this. Keep going, keep pushing. And as you would keep going, you keep pushing, you were looking for reasons to quit. You were hoping that you would break a leg or something, that it would be a big enough excuse so that you can quit. But nothing happened, and it hurt that bad. Have anybody ever had a pain in your life that bad? You just wanted to quit. And Jesus says, with the nails in his hand and the hole in his side and the holes in his head where they drove the thorns and the spit that was on, and his nakedness and his back that's unrecognizable because they beat it so bad. And he's telling you with bloody feet, don't quit. Like today, he's telling you, like, I already died for your sins, you have salvation, but the suffering was for an example, so that you can enjoy my Father's house. You cannot get to my Father's house without suffering. So here's what I want to tell each and every one of you. You're going to have to suffer. I just need you to suffer and don't quit. Suffer as a Christian, so with bloody hands and a bloody head and a bloody side and bloody feet, don't quit. I don't care how hard it gets. I don't care what you're going through. I don't care what your home life is like. I don't care what your upbringing is like. I don't care what your childhood is like. I don't care who your daddy is. I don't care who your mama is. I don't care about your health situations or health concerns. I don't care about what's going on at your job. I don't care what's going on in your community. I don't care about what the government is doing, and I don't care about what the president is going to do tomorrow. It doesn't matter what Congress is, and it doesn't matter whether or not we're at war or we're not at war. It doesn't matter if people are stealing and manipulated. I don't care if drugs are running rampant. It does not matter. What he is saying, with bloody hands and bloody feet and a bloody head and a bloody side, don't quit.